What do we got next? From the Fateful 50. Every single week, Ryan puts up a post, usually on our Facebook. So if you're a new viewer, you can find our questions on Facebook and Twitter. But we asked you guys for questions. Anything you guys want to know, we are willing to answer on this show. And as always, you guys came through, and we got some good questions tonight.
Yeah, and like Brian said, we will literally answer anything.
Yeah, honestly, anything.
That's really weird questions.
Yeah.
And very deep questions. So, But let's start off with Faithful 50 member Jeff.
Jeff.
He wants to know, this question was inspired by the picture that I posted, which was
wait a minute, is this why you did this one first? Because you were so proud of this dumb picture of some S's that I don't even know what they are.
It just happened to be the very first question I
posted. I'm sure it is. Whatever.
And he wants to know, were you Team Stussy, Massimo, or Hilfiger? Now, I remember I had a Massimo tank top. I don't think I ever had anything Hilfiger. I think I had a couple of Stussy shirts, but I remember I think I had a couple like Massimo tank tops that I felt like I was a super badass.
I was really poor. I was Team Goodwill, so whatever you could get for $3.99 was what I was wearing. I do remember I got this. Remember that brand, was it Varney? It's Varney.
Not totally.
There was like this like late 80s, early 90s, this brand came out. It was a V, and they had like V's and like big V, and they were all like crazy colors. It had to be early 90s because I remember I had a black shirt that was neon green and neon pink. It was pretty hot. It was pretty hot in the streets. I had some badass BK Nights though once. So
I'm going to say, Jeff, I was a Massimo man.
I'm going to say the first time I wore Massimo was I was really excited. I bought a Massimo shirt from Target because now it's like their cheap brand. And I remember when I was younger, I wanted a Massimo.
Yeah.
I've never owned a single thing with Hilfiger.
But now we found out that the Massimo guy and his wife have basically bribed their kids into college, and they're being thrown into prison. So
all the things we have going on in this country right now, the absolute last I give any shits about is rich people paying their kids to go to college. We've known this forever.
Yeah.
At least they're not destroying the environment and blowing up democracy in the process.
Yeah, but we are not that kind of show, so we don't talk about that.
I want to be sometimes. Okay, I'm team. I don't know. I'm team. I wore Big Dog shirts when I was a kid. I don't know why. I thought they were stupid, but
which one? The
Oh no, not Big. No, oh my God. You know what? Politically, you know what shirts?
Big Johnson.
Yeah, I was gonna say not Big Dog. Big Dog came later. I just remembered the fucking politically incorrect shirts of the '90s. If you have a Big Johnson shirts.
Yeah, I think that got banned from my middle school.
Good, it should have. They're terrible.
Big Johnson shirt.
No, I was a big sports. I wore a lot of back then. I really liked Chicago Bulls, like everybody did in the '90s. So I remember I had some Chicago Bulls shirts. I was, like I said, man, I was a Team Goodwill. Anything I could go to Goodwill and get my hands on that didn't have holes in it, that was what I wore.
Yeah. So, thank you, Jeff, for that question. Next up, we have David. He wants to know, how do you feel about those who survived and those who didn't? And he would have liked to have seen, or would you have liked to have seen anything different regarding Endgame? So I think he talked about the poster that we were talking about earlier. Okay. Was there? I mean, we did mostly answer that question already, David.
Yeah, David, you're gonna have to refer to that was our second story in Ninja News. So go back about 40 minutes, and it's all there.
Would you have liked to have seen anything different from the?
Not really. I thought those posters were actually kind of genius. I don't think we need their character sheets. I thought it was great. I really liked the way they did it. We were talked about being surprised about Shuri being dead. But I think that's about it. So there you go, Jeff. I know you have a second question, so we're just going to move on to your second question.
All right.
I say to answer your question, go back in time and listen to the earlier part of this show.
All right. Next up, we have a question from Rachel, who I think this is the first time she's ever left a question.
She's left us questions before, but she's not a regular commenter.
All right, so she wants to know which movie from the Lord of the Rings trilogy is your favorite.
I guess she's not including the Hobbit movies as part of the Lord of the Rings since she said trilogy.
I think she's going with the straight, the Lord of the Ring trilogy, which was the first ones that came out, not the Hobbit.
Oh, my favorite one was the last one because then I never had to watch any of them again. No. Just kidding, Rachel. Probably the first one, Fellowship of the Ring. I felt like that felt like the most complete of the movies.
I'm going to say the Two Towers because that was the first time my wife and I were dating at the time, and I took her to that movie, and then she was super stoked about everything Lord of the Rings, even though I think she had a slight weird crush on Legolas.
I don't think there's anything weird about that.
But
all I know is if she started to ask you to wear pointy ears to bed, and then you might have a problem. But
no, I mean, I tried, putting on like pointy ears. It did not work, but that was the first nerdy movie I got to see.
That's because you also put on a Starfleet uniform.
Yeah, well, I didn't wear anything. I was just wearing.
It's her fantasy, not your fantasy.
Okay, well, I was 22 at the time. I didn't know. So.
No, that's a good one too. I mean, I think the first two are probably my favorites. That battle at Helm's Deep is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they were all good movies. I mean, I'm not going to say like one was bad or one just to be my favorite.
They were good. I recently rewatched them. Return of the King used to be my favorite, but honestly, on rewatch, the CGI in that the end is so much CGI, and it just doesn't really hold up that well. Yeah. And honestly, you can feel the expanded universe, the weight of Aragorn's heritage, and a lot of stuff they don't cover. It just feels incomplete sometimes watching it. I think the reason why I like the Fellowship of the Rings is because that movie feels the most like it didn't leave anything out, right? It feels like the most like a complete story of the Fellowship going, has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end. Yes, at the end they still have more journey to come, but it felt. When you get to Two Towers and Return of the King, those movies definitely felt like, okay, this is the middle, and this is the end, and it felt that way, right? Lord of the Rings, I feel like Fellowship of the Ring, you could just put on, watch it, and be like, oh, that was a good movie, and, you didn't feel like, you don't really necessarily feel like you need to watch the next two right in a row, where if you watch, Twin Towers, it just picks up right in the middle, and it just ends right in the middle, and, Fellowship is just, Return of the King is just a big finale, so, but I will say, God, that battle at Helm's Deep is amazing.
Yeah.
That still really holds up well even today. When like I said, we were just on rewatch. I'm like, wow, it's amazing.
And I think that it's currently like the biggest battle scene ever recorded on a movie or TV show, and which is about to be taken over.
Apparently the Battle of Winterfell breaks that one.
So
thank you, Rachel. We'd like to know what your favorite one is too.
Yeah. So thank you, Rachel. Next up, we have our question from Chris. Not our best friend Chris, but the other Chris that we always say bad things about, and he still keeps coming back. So he wants to know, one of these movies franchises has to go, Brian.
Mm-hmm, okay.
One of them is going to be eliminated.
All right.
We have to decide. It's Marvel. The Marvel movies, I'm guessing.
Okay.
Harry Potter. The DC Comics movies. Lord of the Rings. Or Star Wars. One of them. Gotta send them into the dead zone. Which one are you killing off, Brian?
Lord of the Rings, you're out.
Yeah, see, I knew that's what you're going to pick, because that's an easy one for you. I'm going to say Star Wars.
You are dead to me. This show, I'd like to thank all the subscribers that showed up for the final episode of the Geek Dad Report.
I'm gonna take my $400 combat saber.
You look into Darth Vader's sweet eyes and you tell him that you want him to disappear. You apologize right now. Say, I'm sorry.
No.
I don't forgive you, Ryan.
Okay, fine, Darth. I'll go with Marvel. I don't want to give it. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, unanimous. Right after we answered,
and they haven't came out with anything new lately. So
right after we answered Rachel's question. Sorry, Rach. That's a tough one, man. I mean, Harry Potter's just amazing.
I want to say Harry Potter, but then I know my kids would just kill me.
I
So.
can't live without Marvel and Superman in my life, and Star Wars is life. So sorry, Lord of the Rings, you're out. Good movies. I'm sure they're good books. People tell me, but you're out. There you go.
Thank you, Chris. And that was it. I didn't have any other questions. Did you have any from your shared post, or?
I did not. I did make a mistake. David did not have a second question, so I apologize. So because David, you did not have a second question,
Other questions.
I will say that he did answer. I'll give him a shout out. He did answer the which universe would he get rid of, and he said DC. And to that, I just say, David, you are wrong. Your answer is so wrong. You should stop this recording right now. Go into a room, rethink your life. Maybe pray to the many-faced God or one of the old gods or the new, and then just rethink everything that decision you've made up to this point, and then come back to us when you understand how wrong you are, and then we will forgive you, and then you can hit play and finish this episode.
Yeah, and then we'll blind you, and
and then we will randomly beat you with a stick until you understand how wrong you are.
That you're actually no one. So
you are no one. And then Ryan will pretend to be an old lady and stab you.
Yes. Yeah.
How did Arya survive that? That is such bullshit. We just finished that episode. That's the horse shit. That's what you call, like, plot armor.
Save it for the
Game of Thrones show? All right. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for your questions. If you guys would like to be part of the fun, like we said earlier, I think I said Thursday. Sorry. Every Wednesday night we post it. And you guys can let us know. And if throughout the week you get a question and you don't, you can hit us up on Twitter or Facebook or leave a comment on the YouTube page on one of the shows and just be like, hey, for next week's show, I want to ask this question. And we'll totally do it. So
we'll take it at any time.
All right.